Super Saiyajin 4 versus Super Saiyajin Blue. Who could have seen it coming? Hey there guys, it's Affluent here, and I'd like to welcome you back to the Spring Duo channel. Coming at you with another video. I wanted this one to be kind of quick. I was actually debating whether or not it's even worth a video unto itself. But it's going to be a while before I get content out there, because a lot of videos that I have planned will require a ton of research. Research is equal to time, and obviously time is equal to effort. So as long as I'm putting in effort, it's going to take quite some time. So I figured a little quick, easy video like this was right up my alley for today. In today's video, I want to talk about the Dragon Ball Heroes anime. Or, well, they call it Super Dragon Ball Heroes. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see, I guess. If you're unaware, for some reason, Dragon Ball Heroes is an arcade game in Japan. It's also a card game. I never really understood the difference between those two things, because I know the video game involves cards. So I'm curious if you manually buy cards and take them to the game with you. That's a whole other debate. If anyone knows how the game is actually played, feel free to let me know in the comments section down below. That being said, it's a game that dabbles in what fans call hypothetical situations. So for a while, they're giving tons of characters Super Saiyajin 3, giving characters Super Saiyajin 2, just giving characters transformations they don't have in the anime as a transformation in the video game. And the way it works is that it's a crossing timeline. So you play as a time patroller, and the main one they use is Beat, who is a male Saiyajin, and you play as him, and you go and you correct mistakes in history, and you fight the foes of Dragon Ball while they're amped up. It's essentially what inspired Dragon Ball Xenoverse, but then again, you can say they're all inspired by Dragon Ball Online, so it is what it is. But essentially, this anime is about time patrollers, so anyone familiar with Dragon Ball Xenoverse will probably be able to grasp onto the concept very quickly, even if it's not very overt from the get-go. So in this world, you get to fight enemies with different transformations that they didn't have in the anime or manga, and you yourself get to have transformations you didn't have in the anime or manga. And Dragon Ball Heroes, and even Xenoverse, and a lot of people in the fandom as a whole, have been debating the prospect of Super Saiyajin Blue versus Super Saiyajin 4. Now it's obvious why these transformations are always compared, and why people would want to look at these transformations as equals in the sense that they have the same role in the same series. So to compare them, Super Saiyajin 4 and Super Saiyajin Blue are both the 5th transformation, while Super Saiyajin 4 Goku isn't labeled that, and obviously it's the transformation after 3. You have to keep in mind that he has his Golden Uzuru form before that. And in the same way that he has Golden Uzuru before that, Super Saiyajin Blue Goku has Super Saiyajin God before that. And then those transformations are similar in the sense that they are a combination of two transformations, and they can be further added upon. So Golden Uzuru is a combination of Super Saiyajin and Uzuru, while Super Saiyajin God is a combination of Super Saiyajin and God Ki. Or really, it's more like basic God Ki, I guess. Not really a fleshed out concept, that one. Anywho, they both serve the role of being Goku's strongest transformation throughout the main duration of the series, while he seeks something greater. Dragon Ball GT Super Saiyajin 4 was the pinnacle of Saiyajin power, unless you count Super Saiyajin 4 Limits Surpassed, which we did a video on, link in the description box down below. But that being said, these two transformations have drawn a lot of comparisons for these reasons, that they're the main transformation of the series. They had a predecessor transformation that was already way stronger than Super Saiyajin 3, and they definitely look the best on Son Goku, which is why this fight is so interesting, because it's not just going to be Super Saiyajin Blue and Super Saiyajin 4 fighting, it's going to be Xeno Goku and Capsule Corp Goku fighting. And to briefly explain what that means, Dragon Ball Heroes has a system where they recruit heroes from the timeline, and they become Xeno versions of themselves and work for the Time Patrol, and are much, much stronger than their main timeline counterparts. So no one knows the real history of Xeno Goku. What can be assumed about him is that he went through the main story, so he's gone through Dragon Ball Z. The real debate becomes whether or not he went through Dragon Ball GT, because he and Vegeta both know Super Saiyajin 4. They both transformed to Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. He has all the same attacks and techniques as Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So a popular theory among the fandom is that Xeno Goku is actually GT Goku, joining the Time Patrol and having grown up to his actual age, which is a theory I can kind of get into. And then Capsule Corp Goku is simply a Goku from the Dragon Ball Super timeline. I'm not sure how far ahead in the future. He still doesn't know Ultra Instinct, at least according to the manga adaptation, and he's still being trained by Whis. He was visited by future Trunks, who came back to train, but then Trunks goes missing, and he's put on Prison Planet, where Super Saiyan 4 Goku is as well, because he's investigating Fu. And this is where the fight will come into play. They're going to be forced to fight over the Dragon Ball, hopefully the 4-star ball, as per the rules of Prison Planet. And I really think that this is a good moment for us as fans, because this is something people have been wanting to see for a while. Because like I said, these are two basically legendary transformations that surpass Super Saiyan 3. Like, of course, people want to watch them throw down. And I think it's really interesting that we're actually going to be getting an anime for it. And that's really the most significant thing. Because we've seen this fight in Super Dragon Ball Heroes in the video game. This fight happened in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, if you pay attention to that. And I recall there being a third fight, but I can't remember what it was right now. And if I think of it, I'll put it on the screen before you, obviously, after this recording is done. But I think that we've had different outcomes in every fight. With every fight kind of leans towards the idea that they're roughly equal, one of them being better. I think in Xenoverse 4-1, well, in Heroes Blue 1. So that dichotomy alone is pretty interesting. Because if you keep it, because if that's the actual tally, that is 1-1, this would be the tiebreaker, assuming that third version also ended in a draw. But it is what it is. And I think it's a fight that could really be worth something, because it's going to be animated, hopefully with like God tier animation, and we're going to actually see our favorite transformations throw down. We're going to get to watch Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan Blue fight. And I kind of think that this would be a situation where they're equal. Now, this isn't because I want a particular transformation to win, or I want a particular transformation to lose. I just think that there is a lot of entertainment value in having the two be equal. And you can sort of see this in the He-Man and the Thundercats crossover, which we will be reviewing one day, where He-Man and Lino are equals. Back to the point. They're equal. As are Mun-Ra and Skeletor. And it doesn't take away from the characters. So even though one of them might have greater feats than the other one, the fact that they're equal allows them to play off each other, and we can admire their skills further from that comparison. As such, I think for this anime, or at least I'm hoping, what they'll do is have the transformations be equal. That way we can see the specific benefits in each transformation. So for example, with Super Saiyan Blue, you can stack Kaioken on top of that 20 times. However, Super Saiyan 4 allows Goku to memorize techniques, so he'll be able to react to Goku a bit better than he can, because his body will memorize all of the techniques that Super Saiyan Blue Goku uses on him. This could include Kaioken, which could kind of probably, I assume, maybe boost Goku's reaction speed, which could be akin to Ultra Instinct, which is another thing they can play off of. And then you have, obviously, Super Saiyan 4 knowing techniques like the 10 times Kamehameha, which would not equal 20 times boost, obviously, but that comparison would be interesting. To see the new moves and techniques developed in Dragon Ball Super, and we could even dive into the manga for some, since I know there weren't a ton of new moves for Goku in the anime. But even just a tiny comparison, like the different moves they use, will be interesting. Because you should keep in mind that in Japan, both of these forms have a lot of fans. Like, Super Saiyan 4 was able to keep Dragon Ball Heroes afloat for years because people love that transformation. And people have grown to love Blue, hence why it's being featured more prominently now than before. And I think that this will be the mythic battle that kids in Japan will remember forever. And it's one I'm interested in seeing, almost for the novelty of it. Now, I've made a lot of complaints about Dragon Ball Super, and that's putting it mildly. I know, I've complained. I've talked about how bad the power scaling is, I talked about how bad the writing is, I talked about the lack of narrative consistency, but I do that because I love this franchise. And now I think the franchise is at a point where it should have been, which is just being fun. Alright, I Dragon Ball Super get off under the idea that it's just a kids show. Because while it's a kids show that has attempted serious storylines before and followed through with them in 3 series. And that's why I always criticized it, like a show that should have a cohesive narrative. However, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, or Dragon Ball Heroes in general, is not a narrative-driven show. It's purely fan service. So if your show is made to be fan service, you're allowed to get away with things that are fan service. That's how I work, that's how I function. So I'm not going to be complaining about any of the fan service that this anime provides. As long as it doesn't constantly contradict itself, and it does everything it does in service of being a fun story that you can enjoy, then I think we're in for something amazing as Dragon Ball fans. Not to mention that this is Dragon Ball Heroes' anniversary, which they teased by showing Super Saiyajin Blue versus Super Saiyajin 4. So I think this is a perfect time and a perfect opportunity to have them all go at it. I do, however, hope that Xeno Vegito does not appear, and instead we get Xeno Gogeta versus Capsule Corp Vegito Blue. Can you imagine the most powerful versions of these characters, the most powerful versions of those transformations, going head to head in a battle which puts at stake multiple universes and timelines? That would be absolutely insane, and that's the kind of thing we should want. And that's the real reason I wanted to make this video, because I wanted to talk about the importance of this fight, the hype behind it, and why everyone should be excited. I'm fairly confident that it will be a superior anime to Dragon Ball Super, especially considering it's going to be short and have a point and follow a cohesive storyline with a beginning, middle, and end. And while it's a toy commercial and a video game commercial, it's shameless. It knows what it is, and that's all I ask. That should be honest with it. So I hope you guys are just as excited for this fight as I am. I hope you've enjoyed this video thus far, and I'd like to go over a few things as you make your way out. I'm working on several different video ideas for this channel, some of which are not Dragon Ball related, they're comic book related. As you know, this started off as a comic book channel, so I do want to continue making those videos, even if they're not the most popular on this channel. But I will still be making Dragon Ball content, and if you have any suggestions for things you think I should cover, leave them down in the comments section. As well as any suggestions you have for how I can improve these videos, or any critique. You could even flip me the bird if you want. All comments are welcome in my comments section. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, and if you're excited for this fight, and tell me what you think about this fight in terms of narrative, and in terms of how you think it should go in general. Do you think it should be just a brutal stomp for one of the forms? Should they make them equal for the reasons I listed? Should they make one slightly stronger? Should they let them be massively weaker? I'm actually really interested to see what you guys think about how this fight should go. And also, while you're down there, you can also check out the description box, where I have all of our social media listed. This includes our Twitter, Discord, among other things, like Instagram. Be sure to follow us there so you get updates on videos. I like to hint concepts for videos that we're working on there, by just posting random pictures and making innocuous comments. So if that's your thing, you should definitely check that out. There isn't really much else to say. I think I've covered all my bases with this video at least. I'll leave in the description box down below the transformations featured in this video, Super Saiyajin 4 and Super Saiyajin Blue, and the multipliers that I did for those transformations. And when you look at them, you'll be able to see how I think this fight would go in terms of multipliers. But keep in mind that those are just fan-made, and this anime is entitled to do whatever they want. And I actually prefer the idea of them being equal as opposed to one transformation being stronger, like the videos down below will say, I believe. Alright, I don't know why you're still here, and neither do I. But I do hope you have a great day, and I'll be sure to catch you guys later. Remember to like, comment, share, favorite, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified next time video is up. And be sure to keep GT strong. TAF 108. Out.